This is my watercolour demonstration of painting a Norwegian farm. I begin as usual by sketching in with a soft pencil, a Palomino 602 Blackwing, looking at getting the composition approximately to what I want. Only sketch in as much as I need before starting to paint. It's not a drawing as such, it's a roadmap to where I will be putting paint. I start with a light wash in the sky using a fairly broad brush, Escoda sable round, and then follow that by sketching in or underpainting the background hill and some of the foliage of the trees. Here I'm using yellows to warm and blues to cool the background colours and keep it varied. I even use a bit of burnt umber and burnt sienna, always keeping in mind it's going to dry a lot lighter. Switching to a smaller brush, I start by painting in the roofs very lightly, and then the wall, and that's a mix of cadmium red and burnt sienna, varying the proportions, introducing burnt umber to produce a really dark area. I'm not just concentrating on one building, I'm keeping in mind that there are other areas in the painting that need similar tones and values. With the drier brush, I paint in the rust on the roof, and then switching back to the darker tones, I put in some of the shadow areas. The ramp leading up to the stable is done with cerulean blue and yellow ochre, as is the grass in the foreground and elsewhere. Vary a mixture to get the different colours and tones. The water can be treated quite darkly, and don't forget to put in the reflections using similar colours to what you used on the buildings. While I've got that dark tone on the brush, I look for other areas that need to be reinforced and restated now that the paint has dried a little. I'm looking to bring out the contrast between the roofs and the buildings and the background, and the dark tones allow you to do that. I loosely paint in some of the tree trunks and branches, and then follow that up with titanium white gouache to bring out more of the highlights. Sometimes you'll see me putting down a colour and then blurring it with my fingers. It's a quick way of achieving a transition and a soft edge. Still working all over, I modify shapes, colours, tones, and review basically what's happened so far. Understand this is not a finished painting as such, it's more of a sketch to give me an idea of what a finished painting will include and how it will look. A signature completes this sketch. I hope you've enjoyed this little demonstration.